Okay, guys. All right, we are live. I'll give everyone a few minutes to come on in. So we got a couple people that are coming in. We got 5 people. Give a few more minutes for everyone to come in. All right, guys. Yeah, looks like everyone's rolling through. So I got the masked man himself, and in honor of Vic, I put on the mask too because Vic couldn't be here, and we miss him. But I was basically robbing a 7-Eleven the other day, and I ran into Taco because we were trying to rob it at the same time, right, Taco? And
Fate happens,
it
man.
happens. And then we started talking on the, we started talking outside in the parking lot. And then the cops came, but we had our masks off, so they didn't bother us because we're white. So it was great, right?
No comment. No comment. We want diverse participation in TacoDAO. But yeah, white privilege might be real, and that might have worked for us.
Worked for us today. So we got together and anyway, this is not even a sponsored video. I know you've done a couple ones, but I actually wanted to talk to these guys because I thought they were fucking hysterical. And
Thank you.
mean, I think it's fun. I think we're not having enough fun out here in crypto, especially ICP community. You guys, it's hard. First of all, you guys got on the NNS on the launchpad. It's not an easy process, right? I've seen projects try to do it. It's hard, right?
Yeah, it's difficult to get there, no doubt.
It's really hard. So like you guys are gonna show these guys some love because I've been like I've helped some projects advisors that it's like crazy hard for them to even get on it, and they couldn't even get on it. So these guys have gone through some hurdles, which is pretty cool. There are some questions which we'll go through, but basically, can you give us like a top line overview of what TacoDAO is? Just a real brief summary so people can understand.
Sure. So our tagline is the tastiest entry point in crypto. First, we're going to be the tastiest entry point in the ICP ecosystem. Bottom line, we're constructing a bottom-up portfolio of ICP tokens. The first step is on the SNS. We will decide together whether we trust a token. Before we decide, we go through a due diligence process together, and then we vote yes, no. If we vote yes, we trust the token, it gets added to our portfolio, and everyone with voting power gets to decide, well, we trust this token, but how much? So we use the wisdom of crowds. Everyone makes their allocation based on their own judgment and their own knowledge. And we come up with a living sort of bottom up index fund of trustable ICP projects. And the goal is to create a nice, trusted single point of entry where people, whether they're experienced and they've got a lot to share, or if they're brand new to crypto, can come in, be flies on the wall, be loudmouths, and learn together, grow together, not get scammed together, and hopefully make the ICP ecosystem a better place.
Yeah, so this is an ICP centric, basically token. I see between YouTube and X, we got about 20 people watching live, which is pretty cool. More people, 22 people are streaming in, so it's pretty cool. So you are getting some eyeballs. People are interested in this. ICP community is obviously going to support you and have. In fact, what's actually really interesting is you guys you're doing the raise already. You have about 27,500 ICP already committed to you, but in order to make this a reality, you guys need 100,000 ICP. So that's very like you guys are trying to raise $500,000. You guys are going for some big money, right?
Yeah, and I think it's important to put context around that. Most projects go on the SNS launchpad and they just want runway, right? They want to take all of that ICP, pay developers who have to live, and that's important. But 75% of what we plan to raise is going in a portfolio, right? It's going to be hopefully value that's preserved and then grows. And then 25% we're dedicating so that we can afford to pay devs for their full time.
So
So
okay.
yeah, you're good.
So basically, like when I posted you guys on my X, I had a bunch of people. Well, actually, one guy only, really, uh, really, just one guy. He's like, I'm not trusting people wearing a mask, hiding behind the masks, and stuff like this. And what do you have to say to guys like this that are saying like, I'm not going to invest with guys that aren't doxxed and that are going to take my money.
Yep, yep. So I put my information out there. I'm not going to take off the mask and ruin the mystique, but my information's out there. Both of our developers are publicly disclosed. For those who know about DAO, they haven't rugged yet. They've actually grown their treasury over time, which is really remarkable. Snassi from DAO is our lead developer. So I think we have very trustable teammates, and we've been in the ecosystem for multiple years talking to people. So if you don't know who we are, I think you can ask around and learn a little bit. And if not, I'm a pretty accessible person, as you found out. So reach out to me and I'll be happy to talk to you about the project, my background, and why I don't matter. And that's maybe like the most important part. We're a DAO, right? And the DAO can fire me at any time. My mask can go on someone else and they can say completely different things. That's really the beauty of DAOs. I'm going to have voting power, but I paid for my voting power, right? There were huge startup costs. We had to pay for an audit, so maybe I got in cheaper than you. But my voting power is nowhere near 51% or even 10%, right? I'm under 10%. So I matter. I have a vote, I have a voice, but I'm not deciding anything, right? So if you don't like what I have to say, don't listen to me. Vote differently and trust in the fact that the wisdom of the crowd is an established scientific fact. It works in complicated things that one person can't understand. And that's what you're buying into, not whoever's behind the taco mask.
So let me ask you this. So basically, you're going to be taking these the 100,000 or more, whatever ICP you get, and you're going to be swapping these for other tokens on the ICP ecosystem and creating like a portfolio of these tokens, correct?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Very accurate.
So this portfolio of tokens, let's say you got a little bit of Bob, a little bit of Alice, a little bit of Sneed, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of Window 90, Doge 98, all this stuff. And then let's say Bob goes to $5. What do you guys do?
That's a fantastic question. And it's one of the features of what we're doing, right? Because TacoDAO doesn't have a buy sell button, right? We've got a percentage allocation toggle, and people choose based off of how much they trust things and how good their prospects are, what the total value that they want um, in a particular token is. So just to talk it through, let's say Bob is at $1 and we want 10% of Bob, 10% of our portfolio in Bob. Now all of a sudden Bob moons. Bob goes to $5, right? We can't have the same number of tokens. We need 1/5 the number of tokens. So
Okay.
token goes up. Well, we still believe in Bob. We're just keeping him in balance and we're taking profit. And the flip side of that is we believe in Bob. We have, 10% of the portfolio in Bob at $1. Bob goes to 50 cents. We need twice as many tokens, right? So we end up functioning as a market maker almost, where we buy low and sell high, which is the opposite of what most people do. They get news, they emotionally react to that news, and either we're going to Valhalla or zero, right? And you sell on the wrong side. People buy high and sell low. We think the way that we're gathering opinions from people is going to stop them from doing that and encourage them to focus on building a community, building, the projects that we believe in up together instead.
I got it. So basically, let me understand this. If I buy, you guys buy 5% of Bob and Bob goes to 10%, is there like a function in the code that decides to sell it? Is that what you're trying to say? Like you say,
So
sell.
we have a function that's constantly looking at how much we have in the treasury,
Okay.
and it's constantly aggregating the current vote of the DAO. So within our DApp, we've got, again, a slider next to every token. Everyone connects their voting power. Everyone connects their vote. So we've got what we have today, and we have our target amount. And our algorithm basically drips in to whatever positions we need and out of what we don't.
I agree with this comment. This is genius. I agree. I
Thanks,
agree.
Snoosh.
I guess people think we're funny. Yes, this is the idea, man. ICP, we need more excitement out here, man. What are you guys are too serious in ICP, man? It's all about the tech.
Yeah. And
Fuck the tech.
that's a big part of what we're doing, right? DAOs are about engagement.
Yeah,
Voting on code updates may not, it's important. It's not that exciting. But what's more exciting in crypto than managing a portfolio, right? Arguing with people, fudding each other, right? There's some really great discords I've been a part of that are really the basis of crypto. But the problem with that is you don't know who's got what when, right? Someone could be a paid influencer, someone could have bought an enormous bag on launch and they're dumping on you while they're talking up the project. So you can't control people outside of TacoDAO, but at least within TacoDAO, your conversation is going to be right next to your voting power, right? And people are going to be able to take what you say with a grain of salt or with, wow, they're really putting their money where their mouth is, right?
right. Before I get to my serious questions, I want to answer this question. What the fuck is up with the masks? We if you tuned into the beginning of the show, we were robbing a 7-Eleven at the same time. Okay. That's what happened. And we have to keep them on. That's it. We just Mexican wrestling day. It is Taco Tuesday. That is absolutely very true too. It is Taco Tuesday. Okay, so let me get back to my serious question. What makes you qualified to even do this? That's really what a lot of people want to know. What makes you qualified that you're going to be able to pick the tokens in the ICP ecosystem that your portfolio of tokens are going to perform?
I'm not qualified and I don't want you to trust me. That would make me a financial advisor. I'd have to register. That's this process upside down, right? I am, think of me as a mathematician and a philosopher, and I think I am qualified on those two grounds to construct an interesting experiment that's backed by other real world experiments that have been done. And again, the underlying principle of our strategy is the wisdom of the crowd, right? One person doesn't know. This really applies to like guessing games, right? So one of the great anecdotes in a book I read is about in 1904, they had a fair and they were going to slaughter an ox, and whoever guessed closest to the actual weight of the ox won. So people were all over the place. Experts were way wrong. There were, I think, 800 entries that people bet on. At the end of the day, though, somebody did a statistical analysis on all of these numbers. The slaughtered and dressed ox was actually 1,197 pounds, and the mean of all the guesses was 1,198 pounds, right? So nobody could have known that close. Yet somehow there's something about human behavior and the human mind. We come around on the bell curve to the right answer. That's not always true, right? But we think it's very applicable to financial markets, and there's other good anecdotes there. I'm overdue to put a post up on that, but if you believe in that idea and running that experiment through a trustless DAO, which is really what's unique about what we're doing, then that's what you should buy into, not into trusting any particular person. There's some really pretty people that have put their faces up on the IC and they have betrayed. They have taken treasuries, they have dumped on you, they have not built, they have not grown the ecosystem, right? So I could take my mask off. You can know where to find me. If the token goes to zero, it's not going to do you a lot of good, right? Um, care more about the idea and the words than you do what's behind the mask.
I love the fact you said, I am not qualified. The man just told you he's not qualified.
I don't want that.
I've never seen anyone do that. We need more honesty like this. He straight up said, I asked him, guys, what makes you qualified to buy these tokens? He said, I'm not. And that's refreshing. Oh, by the way, we got 43 people between X and YouTube watching. So, I mean, it's going up. People resonate with that. And I appreciate the fact that you're honest about the fact that you're not qualified, and you're basically counting on the community to come in and to basically say, we want to do this, this, this. And what you're doing, from what I understand, is providing a platform. You've built a platform, and you're saying, put your money into this platform, and this platform will act in a certain way, and you will control it. Some people will be okay handing their money over and having it controlled by other people, and some people won't, and those people won't invest, and the people that are will. So that's kind of what you're saying, right? Am I getting the idea of it?
Yeah, I mean, I would think of it less as you're handing your money over, more as you're investing in an experiment, right?
Yeah,
Bitcoin was
yeah,
very much an experiment. There was no back testing Bitcoin, right? And what we are back testing, what we are testing is whether a DAO in real time can make decisions together, right? And take sort of the scam out of buying, and then effectively manage a portfolio together and take sort of the buy on euphoria, sell on fear out of it.
I got it. And is there going to be like a threshold in place? Like if it doubles, you start selling this much. Is there like a threshold in place? How it works?
Yeah, so the DAO will vote on what sort of the target, what the period is that we want to reach the target allocations, right? So
Oh,
we've got where we are today and we've got where we are in a week. And we don't want to put it all in one order. We don't want to take a whole year. So we're starting with that configured as a week. But depending on how big the gap is, we either trade a tiny little bit because we're really close, or if we need to close the whole gap, we'll divide it into a week and we make small orders until we get closer to it.
I
And if
got you.
remember, if price goes up, if people front run us, we don't need to buy more, right? Because price has gone up and our percent allocation might have been reached that way. So
I
a lot
got
of people are saying, hey, you're telegraphing what you're gonna buy. We're gonna front run you and dump on you. I think that's an important test for what we're doing, but I think we will survive that test.
So we're going to talk about a couple things because I see a bunch of questions coming in. Wow, we almost got 50 people viewed in. So definitely some interest going on. ICP community is obviously tuning in to watch you, support you. My ICP bag is shit, not moving. We all need ICP to start pumping. Yes, this is what I've been saying on my Twitter.
Yeah.
Follow me on my Twitter. I've been saying it needs to move more. It's just been outperformed by ETH. I mean, basically anything, AVAX, Sonic. It's
Hmm.
just it's being outperformed. Now, I think that will change. I'm not going to be a Debbie Downer. I still think it's going to change, but it's something going on in ICP right now. I mean, what are your feelings about ICP?
Yeah, and these are just my feelings and my thoughts after being in the ecosystem for 4 years. But we've got sort of the seed unlocks that are wrapping up where people who bought low have been dumping on us, and people who don't have an interest in the ecosystem have told everyone that and have just been waiting to dump on us are dumping millions of ICP. So that's coming to an end. I think that's really important. Um, I think other foundations have this concept of money printer go burr, right? And they just pump Solana, or sorry, Solana. Solana might filter a lot of Solana into good projects that they think are going to bring a lot of Solana attention and fees. And people who build like that, right? So they flock to Solana and you know, it creates a bubble effect, right? Solana is not sustainable, but I sure don't mind buying something at 10 and selling at 300. So I don't think Definity's foundation has really done that. They haven't really opened up marketing. Um, I think they're just waiting for their moment, right? Like I don't think they're deaf to the problems of the ecosystem. I think they're waiting for their moment and their time. Maybe it'll be caffeine AI and we finally go deflationary. Maybe it'll be the Dragons game and we'll have millions of users fully on chain and that'll make us deflationary. I have my own biases and theories and things that could happen. But at the end of the day, I created TacoDAO because I want to be that sort of inflection point of activity. And hey, if this is the right way to manage a portfolio, why not create other versions of TacoDAO, right? And I'm not just spitballing. Look at our roadmap, look at our white paper. Our last step is rolling out our methods to other DAOs
Oh
so they
wow.
can get the same engagement and they can manage their portfolios the same way, right? And the hope is that with the multi-chain nature of ICP, sort of the whole crypto investment world can get behind a top. It won't be the only construct, but a TacoDAO construct, and see that the wisdom of the crowd applies. It's not stressful, and even grandma can do it.
Got it. So I got a question here for you. TacoDAO has a total supply of 7.7 million. That's only a third of Bitcoin supply. What's interesting is that by holding TacoDAO, you're getting exposure to a diversified basket of tokens. I mean, that's really sums it up. Basically, that's what it is. You're basically hoping the value of the underlying assets go up so that TacoDAO token also goes up. Is that kind of the concept? That's what you're hoping for?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, our treasury going up is our core idea, right? If we can't manage a basket of projects together and outperform, right? There's ups, downs, it's a market cycle, then our core idea might not work, or we might need to work on how we're doing it.
Got it. Okay. Change mindset. Buy on fear, sell on euphoria. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's programmed into the platform. It's basically a platform and it's going to be programmed in that way. Oh, you got some fudders. Show your face. It's not Cinco de Mayo anymore. Also, Bitcoin never gave out any coins to the devs. Okay. Wow. So they basically want you not to give any tokens to your team or the devs, and they want you to, and it's not Cinco de Mayo anymore. What is your take on that?
I think we've addressed the mask question twice, but I get that people are joining late. At this point, we've gotten engagement. People like the mask, so I'm not going to ignore those people. B, my message is going to keep being, this is a DAO, right? I don't have any huge amount of voting power or any overwhelming voice that's going to make it a one-player DAO, right? Both of our developers are people I've known and been working with for multiple years, and both of them have their names more publicly out there. If you trust Sneed DAO, Sneed developer is running this project and wouldn't put his name on the line if he didn't think it's a good idea, right? So the whole point of DAOs is they have to be trustless, and
so,
that's what the SNS is for.
so who's holding on to all the portfolio? Is it going to a multi-sig? By the way, got over 70 people. They're like streaming in. It's crazy. 72 people.
Nice.
But where is 74? Man, people
Yeah.
are finding they're liking the masks. This is what's going on. 75, it just keeps 77. Look at this. It's insanity. Okay. So what is it? Who's going to be holding these tokens? Like, let's say you're going to buy some Bob and some Sneed and some all this other stuff. Where does it go? Who's holding on to it?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in a ledger in my wall safe. No, I'm just kidding. It's gonna be on a wallet with the only controller is our SNS, right? We're not gonna do what Alice did and launch with sort of the devs also control the wallet. It'll be fully trustless with the SNS managing everything, including the parameters of trading.
So it basically goes into the SNS. The SNS is going to hold on to the tokens, basically.
Yeah, we can't have it in the treasury because to move things from the treasury, you need a vote, right? And we can't say vote to buy one ICP of X, right? And actually, you know, have people engage for all those votes. Or if we have a vote to buy 10,000 ICP of something, then people will front run the crap out of us. So we need our trading to happen in a different wallet, but it's still governed by the SNS fully.
I see. I see what you're saying.
And we're going to drip into our strategy, right? We're not going to start swinging around 100,000 ICP on day one. We're going to put, well, the limit's 10,000 in a transfer. We'll probably put more like a couple hundred ICP, right? And make sure the process and the algorithm behaves. And then we'll put a couple thousand more. And the DAO will really be voting on how comfortable we get collectively. And we'll get the whole portfolio exposed to our thoughts eventually.
I'm going to ask you the hardest question you've probably had so far. You obviously believe in ICP. You believe in the token is going to do well. Everyone here, a lot of people saying it's going to go to 100 or 200 or $300 or whatnot. Wouldn't it be just better to just hold ICP if everyone is so bullish? You know, I've kind of become a little less bullish lately. I've been a little bit more critical of the network. I've been a little bit more like, I'm not sure it's going to go to those numbers because there's a lot of things they still need to do. Caffeine DAO, they need to do better marketing, better outreach. They need to get more partnerships and things like that in order to get to those levels. And the whales need to stop dumping. There's multiple factors to it. But
Mhm.
what would be wrong with just
Yeah.
having 100,000 ICP was worth $500,000 now, and if you think it's going to go 20x, goes to $100 a piece, well, that's worth the millions and multi-millions of dollars. Why not just do that?
Yeah. Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with holding ICP, and I think people who buy Taco will often hold some ICP as well. But if ICP is going to succeed, we need projects in the ecosystem to succeed, right? And that needs to start somewhere. We need to build trust. We need a community that can rally around one thing and then another and learn about one project from another project, right? Without it being a hey buddy scenario and you're worried about getting drained, right? And that is the reason to get behind Taco and not just get behind ICP. We are trying to actually build the ICP community, and the marketing that Definity is a little bit reticent on, that stuff that we are trying to accelerate. So we're partnering with hopefully the best projects out there. We've got some fun stuff planned down the road in terms of our salsa season and connecting that to real world taquerias, and getting normies involved and getting QR codes in their hand and ICP dApps on their phones. So, again, we're not launching because we want to be professional investors. We're launching because we want to support the best projects in the ICP ecosystem and manage that portfolio in a sustainable and trustless way.
I got you.
It's a little bit different.
We're at 110 people now. I was gonna wow. People are tuning in. They're interested. There's a lot of hype for you.
Thank you.
So this is a great comment. Tech matters. Having fun matters more. Absolutely. And I think you should keep the mask. I think people asking him to take off the mask. No, I think the whole team should just be masked men. I think it's cool. Let's see. This is another comment here. ICP will be nothing without an ecosystem. The whole point is ecosystem, the new internet. That has a point. So he's basically trying to say if you support ICP as a community, then you need to support the different ecosystems in it. So it helps ICP. So I can see that. I mean, I wouldn't mind throwing a couple of ICP your way in the launch pad just to see where it goes. Now, the one question in there that he said there's amount that goes to the devs, and I believe the team gets like 25%. No, the team doesn't get, you said 75% goes to investing. So where does the other 25% go?
Well, it goes into sort of the operations of the DAO. So whatever the DAO thinks is important, right? We've got more development roadmap. That's our number one expense. And then to me, marketing and or outreach is the number two expense. But that's just sort of how we're thinking about it. Once again, we're not going to put the other 75,000 right in the portfolio. It's going to stay in the treasury and it'll be slowly added over time as we get confident in what we're doing.
Got it. Okay. Got it. And then you have how much of the token allocation is this going to the team?
So this is on our website. So I don't want to misquote, but actually here, I can look at the website and not misquote. So the founders pre-sale, which we all contributed significant tokens to pay for our audit. AFAT from the community, the former CTO of Origin, audited an earlier version of our code, including our decks that we're not launching. That was quite expensive, and sort of all of the DKP that we committed to that founders pre-sale went to that. So for that, we, the founders, got 12.85%. The front-end developer who came on a little bit later gets 2%. The advisors, the people who helped shape the idea and make it great early in our Discord, get 1.5%. EV, the great NFT artist in our ecosystem, is getting 1%. Half goes to his community in an airdrop.
Okay.
And then the last big one is the DKP swap. 1 year ago on Cinco de Mayo, we promised out 9% of our token to those who pledged DKP then. So we raised, you can see, 21,750,000 DKP, and that was open to all participants.
So how much was that 21 million DKP worth?
At the time, it was like 1.2 million. DKP was a good bit higher. That was not quite peak alt season for ICP, but it was definitely a better time. But we held on to every single DKP. It's still we still
Okay.
have the full amount. We might use a tiny bit on some pre-launch marketing, but the rest will be part of the portfolio eventually, and it'll go in our treasury.
Would you guys do any, okay, two questions, two-part question. Would you guys do any trading where you can create income, or would you guys do any farming on any of these swaps with your ICP or another token that you own? Would you consider farming at all?
Um, we're open, like that's the beauty of a DAO, right? We're open to anything that's in line with our core mission of helping the best projects and sort of getting shoulder to shoulder with them. So whether that's in, putting liquidity out there, if it's staking a neuron of another project, like there's a lot of directions things can go besides being in a liquid portfolio. I think things get more complicated and harder to manage. So that's not why we're not launching that way. But I think the DAO should be open to all of it and sort of take it on a case by case basis.
Oh man, what happens if the DAO votes to remove masks?
Um, I don't know. I might actually consider taking it off in that case. If the DAO thinks it's important enough, I might.
I'm dead.
But we got to be a DAO first. So if you want that to happen, make sure we get that 100,000 ICP in our treasury.
All right, guys, you heard it. You heard it right here. Get these guys up to 100,000 ICP. I got a feeling one of the first DAO votes is going to be to remove the masks.
I'll be happy to do it. If it's important to the DAO, then suddenly priorities change,
What if the DAO asks you to do other stuff?
I might reconsider this whole venture. No,
what
I think taking off the mask is good, but we're gonna leave it there. We're not taking off anything else.
Okay, all right.
Not that kind of party. Sorry, y'all.
Very nice. Do you guys merge to ICP since Sol is getting more? Did you guys merge to
Oh,
ICP
it's the
since
mask.
Sol's getting more expensive? I don't think so. I think you guys are just into the ICP community. They didn't really want to come over here, right?
Yeah, I think we're all ICP maxis for the most part. I don't want to speak for anyone else. I know we've got some Bitcoin holders, but we all really believe in the ICP ecosystem, or we wouldn't be here. We met in the SNS1 Discord back when that launched.
Yeah, and then that guy was he's like he doesn't like your token because Jerry Banfield talked about it, which is fair. Jerry talks about all sorts of crazy shit.
Yeah, I replied to Jerry in the forums, and I don't know. He hasn't been seen since. He hasn't replied to my reply. Put it that way.
Did Jerry say something about your token or your project?
Jerry, I guess I may as well tell the full story. Jerry agreed to represent our project. Um, we initially were launching back in March, and there was some serious drama with the Neuron Fund. So at the request of others, we pulled back at that time and said we're gonna relaunch later. I guess Jerry didn't like that fact, and he went from saying, yes, I will take 10,000 taco to support you, to no, and I'm going to reconsider my whole policy on supporting early launch projects.
Oh
And
wow.
then we launched. We had a really nice video with Pill, and Jerry came out and gave us a free 20-minute video where he didn't really show a lot of understanding of the project. So maybe I'll get back on with Jerry if he's open to it, and we can have a conversation and get to reality again. But he raised some concerns. If they were valid, I'd say, great, we're a DAO, let's make it better. But really, he was just voting, in my opinion. So if that person listened to Jerry, I would encourage them to go to the forum, look up, I think, a Jerry Banfield video response or something like that.
Got
And
you.
I actually took a little bit of time to go point by point with the team, and we'll see. Maybe he'll reply to it someday.
We'll
Maybe
see.
he'll reply to it when he sees this.
I love me some good FUD. I gotta check this out. I love it. I love it. Blockchain Pill did a good video with you guys. He's a great YouTuber from ICP community.
Thank you, Pill.
Yeah, he did a great job. Any other questions, guys? Before we get going here, 136 people. Man, you should just make me an advisor. I got you 136 people on this thing. Come on.
Well, you're definitely welcome to join the DAO, and if you know you're helping do God's work, then
God's
you
work.
know we'll have different ways to reward people that are openly marketing the DAO. So thank you for the platform.
Yeah,
But
guys.
no free airdrops. This stays non-sponsored.
No, I mean, you guys can't do any free airdrops, all that stuff, because the money is being allocated directly. I mean, it's basically matches the treasury, so you got to be tight. I mean, the only thing I think you guys should think about, and it's obviously a DAO at long term, but that you could definitely figure out ways of making it like partnerships with other projects where you can help make it deflationary. You could also bring in funds from other projects to help invest for a percentage where you buy back the token. There's all sorts of stuff you could do if you become successful. So it's just a matter of, I think, for you guys launching, getting 100,000 ICP, which is, by the way, no small feat, getting 100,000 ICP. You're going to have to probably do more interviews. There's obviously a demand for it. 143 people tuning in right now is very impressive between X and YouTube. So I people don't understand, like I'm into the numbers. I understand how YouTube and X work. You don't get these kind of numbers of viewership unless there's actual interest in the project. So people are actually interested in what you have to say. So best of luck is what I have to say, and I hope you get it. I hope you get the 100,000 because I'm going to be an investor too. I want to see where this thing goes.
Thank you.
You changed my mind. You've actually changed my mind, and do not lose the masks, in my opinion. I think the masks have to stay on.
Okay. Well, maybe you'll keep yours on until I take mine off too.
There we go.
This is your most popular podcast, so.
All right, guys. All right. Well, if there's no more questions, we're gonna call it calling into this. Any more questions? Let's see. No more questions. Thanks for your time, Taco. I wish you guys the best of luck. You know, let's see what happens. I'm going to be following you guys on the NNS. I'm going to be buying some tokens too, just because I think this is actually kind of cool. I mean, it's a real world asset in a way. It's not really real world, but it kind of functions as like an ETF or stock, kind of something that's backed. It's backed by something is what I mean. And I kind of,
we're not just a technology product is the way I would put it, right? We're managing a big chunk of value together, and that big chunk of value is what we're getting from the SNS.
I like it. And you're also validating the technology of the SNS, which is like, you know, some people have had issues with it. So you're also validating that, hey, it could be used in this way to kind of create these type of projects, not just the type of projects that have come, but a new type of project that could potentially be a real world asset. That's what's actually kind of cool about it.
Totally agreed. Thanks, King.
All right, guys, have a good one. If you got questions for Taco, you can put it in, I guess you could put it on the X or the YouTube down here. I'm sure he's going to check it back and forth, and you can follow the links to his community. You can ask him there. Best of luck to you guys. Take care, everyone.